Hey, what's up, YouTube? So I'm here with my group of grow out Red Isletas. Average size is about 4.5 inches. I think I have a couple smaller ones in there, pushing maybe 2.5 inch. But it's a group of 10, and this group is from um, an original group that I had uh, back in 2000 and I want to say 2017. Um, I was able to successfully spawn a couple. Of fry, and some of my fry I was able to disperse throughout the Baltimore area. And just kind of crazy that is, the same fish are coming back to me. So this here, again, is from the original group that I had. This is probably about, I want to say this is probably third generation, maybe fourth generation of the stuff that I had. I also got a 10 incher who comes down off of the stuff that I had as well. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the Red Leaders in general. And you could check a video that I did. I want to say I did this video back in 2017, maybe 2017. Talking to Jeff Raps at the Big Fish deal. That was hosted here, and well, I'm in Baltimore, but it was hosted like in the DC area. And so I had to deal with Jeff Raps that to pick up some gold bar Midas, and I just wanted to pick his brain on some of the other race of Midas that he had, and some of the others, because when I first got into the hobby, Jeff Raps had on his list, he would have Midas from Rio Squires and Rio Tempisque and Rio San Juan. The list goes on and on. The locations that he was able to bring into the hobby. So I asked him, why wasn't any of those fish available on his page anymore? And he was explaining to me that, people were more into the flashy fish, fish with bright colors and all, and he was having a hard time selling the barred Midas because they were normal, they were plain looking, and then they all looked alike. No matter what the location was, they all looked alike. So he had a hard time pushing them, and from his experience, he decided not to even to move him along anymore. This is a big boy right here. He's probably about 6 inches. This guy right here, he's looking real good, real good. So he's a stunner. Well, they all pretty good looking fish, but he's a beast. But and recently I had a talk with another hobbyist, and we were talking about the Red Isletas as well. And so to kind of go back on the history of these fish, and this is coming directly from Jeff Raps. He told me, he was doing some fishing down near Grenada, and some shallow murky waters near a group of islands, when he came across these barred fish, whatever, and of course citronellus, and he made a determination that these citronellus was different from citronellus that he collected in other parts of Lake Nicaragua. He said, and he didn't believe that they just went there to spawn, because he saw citronellus there, debarred citronellus there, of all sizes, small like these guys, and some bigger, fully grown adults. So he figured that they was endemic to that part of the lake. He never got a DNA test on them to confirm if they were a different species other than a barred Midas species. So he just figured that they were just another race of barred Midas that was just located in a different part of Lake Nicaragua. But he called these guys Red Isletas because of the red, like you see on this guy, the red on their face and the red on their head, um, which was different from some of the other barred miter species or races that he found in other parts of Lake Nicaragua. But so anyway, he introduced these guys to the trade, and somewhere or another, you know, I guess from people not breeding location specific fish, you know, just breeding different races of citronellus. There are now fish that people sometimes call Isletas, and sometimes they call them something else, you know. But Isletas, so when he mentioned the word Isletas, is basically just where Isletas again is Spanish for island. It's basically saying, hey, these fish they still bar citronellus, but this particular race was found near the islands, Negrinata and the shallow murky water. But again, they just barred citronellus. The history of these fish come directly from the fish that Jeff Rapps imported into the hobby. There's, like I said, there's other fish that, and I've bred fish, these same Red Isletas, and I had to move some fish out due to a separation divorce. And I know the people that probably got the fish that I bred, they probably had no clue of what type of fish they had. They just knew that they were barred mites, right? So that's another way that some of these fish get screwed up in the hobby, basically. You know, some people will get a fish and it's a barred citronellus. They don't really have the background on it, and they'll breed it to another barred citronellus or orange citronellus or peel citronellus, whatever you want to call it. And next thing you know, you got, you know, they citronellus, but they citronellus are different races, and we really don't know exactly the history on these fish. So I was explaining to another hobbyist the other day, you know, to try to seek out the full history of the fish that he has, because again, stuff like that happens, you know, stuff like that happens. People, they get fish from one person and the fish get passed along, and before you know it, they're being bred to other races of citronellus and sometimes other subspecies. Like some people take a Red Isletas like this and they may breed it to Amarillo, you know, or Eloensis or any, you know, and before you know it, we got a whole bunch of different genetics going on and fish that's not true to their exact location. So, but like I was telling my buddy, you know, that I talked to the other day, you know, just be mindful of where you get your fish. Ask as many questions as you can before you make that purchase. Hey, where did the fish come from? Who did the fish come from? You know, and try to trace back the lineage as far as possible. If you suspect, you know, any foul play in the fish, or you don't trust the people where they came from, go with your gut instinct. You know, go with your gut instinct. These fish right now, the Red Isletas and a lot of the barred citronellus and also the barred labiitis, they kind of, you know, they're kind of hard to find, you know, because again, once Rapps stopped selling them, people didn't preserve them. You know, they kind of let them go by the wayside. So, because I love citronellus of all races, and Amphilopus is, you know, and to that point, I love Amphilopus in general. You know, my goal is I do a lot of research and trying to figure out who has what, and if I can acquire it, I will. But as I'm acquiring it, I do like to ask, hey, where'd you get that fish from? You know, what location is that fish? Because again, these Red Isletas can look like, you know, another citronellus from another location. You know, if you don't actually for the background, or you don't know the background, then man, it could potentially, you know, throw a big monkey wrench into the game. Because again, you could take a fish that looks like a Red Isletas, and people calling it a Red Isletas, and you may breed it to a gold bar, Citronellus that's from San Francisco, Libre Managua, but yeah, man, do your research, try to figure out the race, where did they come from, because that's the most important. Who bred these fish? Who did they get them from? And then you could go from there. All right, so I'm at 10 minutes. I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm not gonna let this video go much longer, but hopefully that helped shed some light on this particular race, Citronellus, and hopefully that helps people to dig a little deeper into where that fish come from.